So we're back to our road accident report creation. I'm going to go back into the Power Query so that we can continue from where we stopped yesterday. This is our third day on this. On the first day, we introduced ourselves to this data and the requirements, which is a first step in your principles of data analysis. We've seen that within the data set, we have the date of accident and other details like road type of junction, more details to the junction where the accident happened, the location, of the accident, the type of car, the number of casualties, road condition, road type, and so on, and speed limit as well. So we understand that has been given to us. Then we have gone into the requirements to look at what this report is needed for. And we have a good breakdown here, you see, that the project is aimed at analyzing traffic accident data. We need to identify the trends and insights related to casualties. So casualties is our major KPI here, and we have casualties column. So this project will leverage several key performance indicators to measure the severity and the impact of traffic accident, including total number of casualties by how severe the accident is, by vehicle type, by road type, and a few other factors. And we have further explanation here. It says that the business case for this task is to help transportation authorities, law enforcement agencies, and other stakeholders improve safety and reduce the number of casualties caused by accidents. By analyzing this data and identifying the trends and the patterns, the stakeholders can implement targeted interventions to improve road safety and reduce risk of accident. Mute. Please, let's mute. Okay, so yes, the business case behind this is that with whatever finding we get from this data, from our reports, it could help those that are in power, those that actually make law, to put the right interventions in place at different places that we find problems, so that the risk of accident can reduce. Okay, so it's pretty much straightforward. If I click on the corner here, just to be sure that we don't have duplicated rows, not duplicated columns this time. This corner here, I can look and say that remove the duplicates. So that corner there would remove duplicate from the entire table. It will go through all of the rows to make sure that no two rows are exactly the same. Note that I didn't remove duplicate from just one column. If I wanted to remove the duplicate from a column, I'll click on the column, right-click on it, and look for remove duplicate, which is here, and do that. But to remove duplicate from the entire table, I will go into the corner here and look for the remove duplicates, and that does it for me. I didn't have to repeat that actually, it has been done already. Okay, so we have also dealt with the data types. So all the data types are fine. Okay, from what we have in the requirement, our first measure that we need to create is total casualties that are taken after the accident. Total casualties. So we need to calculate the total casualties. And we have the number of casualties column, this one here. So we need to calculate the total that's in the entire data set. And it's good that we have the right data type for it as number. If we didn't have it as number, it would just count the rows for us. And that's not what we intend. So I'm going to close and apply these now. It is good to go for now. If we feel there's need to come back into the Power Query and do more work, we can always go back and forth to do that. But for now, I believe we are fine. Just waiting for the query to load. I mean, we could actually just to create a few dimension tables. Okay, we could have gotten a few dimensions out. Okay, I think we should do that. Actually, we'll go back into Power Query again. I forgot that part. So edit query, we go back into Power Query. If we look at the requirement and see what we really need, it says that we should look at the top casualties and percentage of total with respect to accident severity. Okay. So we need to bring accident severity out as a dimension, vehicle type as a dimension, because we have that here. We need our date table. It says monthly trend showing comparison of casualties for current year and previous year. Okay, so we need a date table, maximum casualties by road type. So we need road type. Those are the dimensions we have here. Okay. Then distribution of casualty by road surface. We also need road surface. The relation between casualties by area, location, and by day, night. Okay. So we need probably the area location as well. Okay, you know, we said it's standard practice to not just work with a flat table. At the moment, we have just this one data set, but we know that we can create a whole lot of other data sets from this, okay? And form a small model, data model, a small star schema. Okay, we can form something as simple as that. Now, I think I've given you the expo already. The table we have, this table is our fact table, because this is where all the events are recorded, which is about road accidents, and road accidents are captured here. Okay, so this is our fact table, but we need to create dimension tables from this. Okay, I'm going to do a bit of an exercise, class work with us. If we look through these data sets, which columns would you say can stand as dimension? Now we can bring them out as our dimension tables that we use to form our dimension table. Which of these different columns would fit into the definition of what we know as dimension table? Starting from ID, dates, you can ignore year, months, and they are part of the dates anyway. Okay. Junction control, junction detail, accident severity. So if you were in an exam and you are told to point at the columns here that you think are dimensions in this data set, which one would it be for you? Let's unmute and try.
I think junction control and junction details will be our lookup table. One of them.
We can even have both of them actually. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
both.
junction control can be a lookup table. Junction detail can be a lookup table. Accident severity. Thank you. The date as well. You know that we said dimension is in your data set, dimension would be the who, the what, where, when. So when is the date? We don't have any who here because we don't have the names of those involved in the accident. So that's fine. Where? The location. We have location. Okay. Location is all these
Junction
borrow,
2, junction
cancel.
3,
Yes, all
location.
those ones. Okay, we have what? What can be our car? The car details, vehicle type. That can be the what. Okay. Weather conditions can also be what. Okay. Road type. The type of road can also be the what. Okay. So anything that is doing the job of describing, description, okay, that is your dimension. We don't have to bring everything here that we see that are dimension. We don't have to bring them out. We will only bring out those that are mentioned in the requirements, okay? And we started with accident severity. So if we are to form the accident severity table, we need to duplicate this road accident data. We need to duplicate because we'll form it from what we have, which is just this road accident data, okay? Now, two ways of duplicating your data, and they stand for two different things. I'm right-clicking on here, and we have these options in the drop-down. So we'll need either the duplicate or the reference. Now, reference would reference the table. Duplicate will make a new copy. What I mean by that is, okay, let me use duplicate. If I duplicate and it forms a direct copy, you know, of this. Now, this new table that we have formed, the copy, is not depending on this one anymore. It's separated completely from the first one that we made it from. So if from the source, any changes happen within this road accident data and they've added more information to it, this one does not necessarily get it from this table anymore. So it is completely independent. And we can see how we know is from the first table, look at the applied steps: source, navigation, change type, remove duplicates. Look at the road accident number 2, the copy. It also has all of those steps. That is, I've carried all my load from the parents that you made me from, the parents table that you made me from. I don't need them anymore. I'm on my own. That is what duplicate does. But reference, let's use reference and see. If I click on reference, that makes another copy. But the parents table, the original table we made all these different ones from. See, again, let's refer to the applied steps. It has all those 4 steps. The duplicates that we use carried all those 4 steps and decided to become independent. But reference does not have all those steps. Reference is saying that I recognize this first table that you made me from as my source. Okay, so any changes that happen to this first one would automatically reflect in the referenced table. Okay, now let me put reference in front of this so that we know that it was referenced. Okay, in the name we put reference. And in the number 2 one, I'll put duplicates so that we know that we actually used duplicates to form that one. Okay. Now, let's practice what I just said. Remember, we said that when you duplicate, it becomes independent of the first one. So if you make change to the original one you started with, it doesn't reflect on this one. But if you make any change to that first one, it would reflect on the reference. So what I mean is, so I come back to the original. I decide to remove other columns and leave just the first column. So I remove other columns and just leave only this. If we look at the duplicated one, nothing happened to it. It's still maintaining its own territory. that change did not affect it. Okay, that is, it's saying I'm not depending on our parents that you made me from anymore. But if we now come to reference, see, the change you made here immediately became shown, became affected. This one is the right word. Okay, so if you are trying to make a copy of a table, you need to think of these two things: duplicate or reference. What should I do? Now, if changes happen to the first one, would it matter if I in this table that I am making, or would it not matter? That is what you will use to decide if you should use duplicate or if you should use reference. Okay, that's the difference between those two. I'll remove that step, and then we'll see that this also is restored back. And again, that's because it's referencing that first table as its source, as its own alpha and omega. That is where I'm drinking from, basically. Duplicate is saying, I have my own cup. I don't have to drink from our parents anymore. Okay, so that is that. Now, we said that, so we are making duplicates of this table, of this original table, because we need to get out the dimensions and form a data model. The first dimension, in no particular order, actually. You can do it anyhow you want to do it, okay? So we are making severity first, okay? So I will come to accident severity. I'll click on it and I will remove other columns because I only need the accident severity. This is what this is about, okay? Then I'll remove duplicates because dimensions are not supposed to have duplicates, okay? So I'll remove duplicates. There's quite a lot of data, so that would take time. But what we'll be left with, I believe, will just be slight, minor, fatal, I think. Yes, slight, serious, and fatal. Those are the, you see. So all those duplicated copies of slight, serious, yes, fatal, they've not now been trimmed down to just 3, because those are the only 3 values that are actually in that column. Now we need to change the name of this table. It is no longer road accident data. This table is now accident severity. So I'll leave the duplicates just so we remember that it was made by duplicating. And I'll put accident severity. Okay, so that is that. Then the other one that we would definitely need is the vehicle type. Okay, so let's use this as vehicle type. Again, the vehicle type that I need. So I'll remove other columns and I'll remove duplicate from here as well. It's really very slow. Shouldn't be this slow. It's dragging its feet.
So what we are trying to do now is we're trying to create our dimension table manually.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we are only given one flat table. So
Okay.
from that one flat table, we are just creating our own dimension tables.
Okay.
Yes. So this table is now vehicle type. So I'll change the name of it to vehicle type. Okay. I think I need to clean a lot of things on this system. It's really slow. Okay, if we look at the requirement again, we need our date table. Okay. Road type. Okay. So I'll quickly duplicate. It doesn't matter which one I use at this point. It won't affect it. So duplicate to, and then let's look for road type. Road type. Yeah. So I'll remove other columns from it and I'll remove duplicates and we can name that road type. Come on. Stop dragging. And the other one would be the last one I'll use for date. Instead of using our usual date table method, because we have a lot of dates in this data anyway, I'm thinking of just taking the road type. Is it? Yeah. We don't need this anymore. So road type is fine. Wow. Now I'm thinking of taking the date from here. So accident year and month, and even day, it's got day of the week as well. So if I retain all 4 columns, okay, and remove the other ones, remove other columns. I'm just using a shortcut, okay? Because we normally in your date table, you need the date, the year, and and we have that here already. But I'm thinking no need to stress ourselves. Now I'm going to remove duplicate from only this one, the dates. The date is the one we don't need the date to be duplicated. Okay, so remove duplicate from the exact date itself, and we call this date table. Okay. So in our date table now, we have year, month, day of the week. Now I will go back to the original table. These 3 columns, we won't be needing them in the original table. We can communicate with this table using just this accident date. Okay. So no need to duplicate to have these ones here anymore. Normally they are supposed to be in a date table. So I'll remove this. Hopefully we should be fine. It doesn't affect. So this date is all I'll leave. And that date can be used to speak with this particular table. Okay. And that just makes our work on date very quick. I think we've done vehicle type. Road type, we've done road type, road surface. So let's do road surface and that should be all. So one more duplicate and it says road surface. So let's look for road surface on here. Yeah, this is the road surface. We'll remove other columns and then we remove the duplicate on here. Did I pick the right one? Road surface conditions. Are they the same? They should be the same thing. Let's see if I'm right. By road surface, is there any other road surface apart from the road surface condition? That's all. Okay, so yeah, that's the one. I can change this to road surface then. Okay. Okay, so I think we've managed to bring all the required dimensions out. So we'll close and apply now. When that is finished dragging its feet, we close and apply, we'll save, and then we'll look at what our data model is looking like. That one is still loading. It's really taking longer. I think I need to clear cache or something on this. On this end, it should be fine. Okay, it's finished loading. I'm going to save that. Then let's go into the, okay. I thought that disappeared for a second. Let's go into the data model and see what it has done. So it has identified that these ones are on the one side of the table. Date table, road surface is picked almost all of the ones that it should pick. Road type. Can you see 111 on each of them? Because they belong to the one side of the relationship. And that's because there's no duplicate in them. You see, that's why we'll just put this one aside. Okay. The only one it hasn't picked automatically is our date table, and we'll make that happen. Okay. So we just drag the dates into here. One to many, yes. So we save that. Okay, I don't know why I didn't pick that one automatically. Okay, so instead of working from just that one flat table, it's the ones we met on the job, they normally would say that it's good to something, I can't remember the term that they use. But yes, it's like you have decentralized, something like that, the table, and create a data model. This is simple star schema, star schema, because all of our data, all of our dimension tables are directly relating to the fact table. Okay, there isn't anyone that's just hanging on the other dimension tables. All of the dimension tables are all directly talking to the fact table, okay, or transactional table. Okay, so this is just it's not part of the data. That's why it's standing on its own. It's just for information purpose for us. Okay, so, and we have established that the major part of our uh, of what we'll be referencing as our KPI is the total number of casualties. Okay, so which tells us that the first measure, let's make a table where we want to put all our measures. I don't see us making too many measures. Okay, So measures is what I'll name these tables as, this table as rather, measures, okay? And we load that. And the purpose of this is just to house all of the calculations that we make. Okay, so inside the measures, by the side of it, I'll come here, click on the 3 ellipses and say I need to make or create new measure. And the new measure is total casualties. So total casualties equals, we want to sum up the column road accident. So if I start with our road accident, then we look for the one that says casualties. If you find it, let me know. Yeah, number of casualties, that one. I'll close that. So it's just that simple sum. You can just press enter if you like. Okay, and I'll save that. Then just to validate that that worked well, let's look for a card visual. Where is all the card visuals here? I can't seem to find them. Q&A. Oh, there it is. And just put that one that we just, wow. So in this data set, we see that we have 418,000 casualties. Okay. This column 1 would normally come with your table when you for measures. Okay. So I'll remove it because it's not adding anything, you know. Delete from the model. It's not adding anything. It's just an empty column, you know, that came with the thing. Okay, so we have that. We have our total. I want that number, the call out value, to not appear in the way that it has appeared. So I want the display unit of it to be none, so that we have the exact number. I'll click on that and then put a comma separator, and that way we can read it well. That is 417,882. So this is the primary KPI that we are going to be using to create the rest. Again, I will save my work. And then in the next 2 minutes or so, let's see what more we can do. It says that total casualties taken after the accident, we have created that, so that is done. Okay. And then number 2, total casualties and percentage of total with respect to accident severity and maximum casualties by type of vehicle. So I believe we need 2 visuals there. Okay. We want to look at in terms of severity, what is the distribution of all these total casualties? And we want to look at that as percentage. What percentage of all of these 400 and something thousand, what percentage of them is severe? What percentage is just minor? What percentage is a slight or very fatal? Okay, that's what this one means. And then total casualty by vehicle type. Okay, so let's see. Let's see how we will do that. Okay, if we go into, I think we can use a donut chart because there's only 3 by accident severity. So if I click on that, okay, and then we use the total casualty, okay, so it is easily showing us that those that are slight are the most, okay? And then the next most are the serious. The fatal ones are not very much, okay? And the question is wanting us to show that by percentage, yeah, percentage of total. So percentage of total now, why I chose pie chart is, or donut chart, any one of the two would work well, is because you see, let me make these numbers that we see here, let me make them show better. So if we go into our paintbrush and we look at the detail labels, okay? And we look at the values, under values. I can change that under values. Arial. And what matters most is I want that to be dark and maybe show a bit more than that, okay? And the display units of it, if we remove display unit so that we have the exact number, okay? Now it's showing for only two of them because that was not big enough. Now we can see for the others. Now the question says that we should show percentage. You see the what's it called? The donut chart is giving us percentage already. Okay. So we can see that 84.1% is light or minor, while 14.9% is quite serious. And the fatal one, I believe fatal will be even worse than serious. Okay. And those ones are the 1.71%, you know, of the whole. Okay, so that's why I chose that. It didn't really tell us to show the actual number. So if I go under label content, you see, you can decide to show which one you want to show. In our question, we are told to show percent of total. So if I click on percent of total, it takes away the value and just gives us the percent, which is exactly what we've been asked to do. Okay, so let's keep that, you know, aside. We are also told to do this by vehicle type within that same question, I believe. Casualties by vehicle type. Okay, so let's see how that would work. Let me click out so that I don't. Vehicle type. I'm just going to click on vehicle type and click on, there's quite a few vehicle types here, and click on total casualty. Okay, so I'm looking at that in a table and I'm thinking, would it be okay to use this visual?
Let's use cluster or
Which one?
like a bar chart, like this one.
Like this one, okay.
Yeah, instead of the matrices.
Yes. This one shows it straight away. You can see that the
Mhm.
cars are the ones that are causing the most trouble. In fact, it's really massively on cars, more than the rest of the other types of vehicles. Okay, so that's that. I mean, we haven't started to really make it look fine yet. Okay, but yes, I'm going to save that. And then if we have time for one more, it says the secondary KPIs, total casualty with respect to vehicle type. This one says maximum casualties by type of vehicle. Is that not a repetition? Total
Just a
casualties.
tautology, yeah.
I'm hoping that so total casualties and percentage with respect to accident severity and maximum casualties by type of vehicle. I'll see what we did with this question in Excel, if we did them separate. or if we consider those two factors together, then we can revisit that tomorrow, okay? Because it's looking like what is done here is also what we are looking at here, okay? And monthly trend showing comparison of casualties for current and previous year, okay? That we can easily do by using any of these ones that have, yes, any of these ones that have clustered or clustered column. You see, oh, I've changed. We can easily, use this one, put out that, and then drag the dates. Is it the dates now? It says by month, comparing the two. Okay, yeah, comparing the two years. So if I drag dates here, if I drag dates here and drag the year as a legend here, but it doesn't show us month for this is not how I want it to show us. I want it to show us last year, so just the month now. Okay, so let me see if I can remove day, quarter. If I remove the year, would that change? Okay. Okay. So the light blue is the 2021 and the dark blue is 2022. And we can see straight on that casualties in the year 2021 for the same month is really more than what we have in 2022 all through the year. So from January to December, casualties was far more in 21 for each of the months than what we have in 2022, okay? But we'll do better with this tomorrow. I'm seeing us finishing this very early, which is good. Then we'll see how we can make our deductions from this. If we were to be stakeholders, who are the ones making the law concerning these things, how would we use this result that we are gradually seeing and plotting? How would we use it to change anything, at all? That would be the question. On this note, let us go and rest. Tomorrow is another day.
Thank you. Thank you. I need to go and read more on these references.
Oh, yes, that would.
Yes, it's a little bit clumsy to me.
We can mention more on it tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
But yes.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Ma.
So
I hope we
have a
have a
good
good night,
evening.
everyone.
So I can go to. Sorry.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.